Hello, everyone. How's it going? Azren, the language nerd here. I'm the owner of the Calgary Language Nerds. My team of tutors and we run classes for a wide variety of foreign languages for all ages and all levels of fluency. So, regardless of if you are a child, if you are a teenager or an adult, or regardless of if you are a beginner speaker, intermediate level speaker, or really, really advanced, it doesn't matter. We have a tutor that can help you achieve your fluency goals. And welcome to this course that I'm putting together here on how to learn another language. I'm going to share my screen as I usually do. Okay, let's scroll down to where we left off. So last time we did a pretty heavy chapter. We were working on work life and we were talking about various professional and work related vocabulary and words and phrases and conversation, listening practice, etc. It was a pretty heavy chapter. This time we're going to make things slightly easier and we're going to discuss. Here we go. Perfect. Describing where you live. Now, before we do that today, I would like to address a few housekeeping items. So the first one is if you have not visited the home page for this course, I encourage you to do that now. It is azrenthelanguagenerd.com/free course, AZ or Z, REN, thelanguagenerd.com/free course. As I said, that is the homepage for this course on how to learn a language. All of the lessons are very, very well organized in order with little descriptions on what I talk about in each video. On this website is also where you would be able to purchase the workbooks for this course should you choose to. And in fact, what the heck? I've never even said this. This is the first time I'm saying this. I should have said it beforehand. When you purchase the workbooks, you actually get a couple of other goodies that come with the workbook. So first of all, you get a coupon towards any lessons with the Calgary Language Nerds, should you ever choose to take lessons. And also you get some time with me. So you get a strategy session with me where I would help you identify where in the program you should start. I would help you identify what kind of learning methods would be best for you based on your personality, your free time, the language you're learning, your level, things of that nature. And I would also help you map out how long it will take you to achieve your desired level of fluency. And so it's a pretty good bang for your buck. As things stand today, the price for this is $99. So $99, you get all the workbooks from level 1 all the way to level 5. In fact, there might even end up being a level 6, which I haven't decided yet, but all the workbooks, you get that strategy session with me, and you get a $25 coupon towards any classes should you ever decide to take classes with my business. That price is subject to change. I actually think that price might go up and I might restructure that in some different ways in the future. But that's as I'm recording this today, as you're watching this, if you're watching this reasonably speaking within a reasonable amount of time and when I've actually posted this, it's likely the same and it's likely that's what the pricing is, but of course it might change. Lastly, on that course page, I'm a pretty creative guy. And listen, you might be watching this 2 months after I recorded it. And in that 2 months, I decided to include some other goodies on the home page of the website that I just didn't think of doing beforehand and I didn't mention in this video. And so I would bookmark that website, bookmark it, save it, always access the course through that website because you never know what I put on that website and you never know what kind of cool things I put on. And I just don't mention it in the video. So I wouldn't recommend going through this on YouTube, or rather accessing this as YouTube as your primary point, or Instagram. Just access it through my website. Everything is always there, all the updated information. Sometimes I might make adjustments to the courses based on your feedback. So that won't be in a recorded YouTube video. That'll be on the website. So that's the best place to access this course here. So the website is, get ready, azrenthelanguagenerd.com/free course, AZ or Z, REN, thelanguagenerd.com/free course. With that aside, let's dive into this lesson, excuse me. So as we talked about, as I mentioned before, you're going to learn how to describe where you live in this chapter. As we always have, there's a vocabulary section. So book a lesson with your tutor or your language exchange partner, your speaking partner. and ask them how you would say the following words. We have village, town, city, farm, building, house, apartment, street, outskirts, downtown. Outskirts, by the way, as in maybe the outskirts of a city, like you live just outside the city, a district, monument, landscape, and square. As every single chapter that and every single unit in this course, I highly recommend. In fact, no, not recommend. You must learn more words than the words I recommend. The words I recommend are simply a starting point. That's it. If you only learn the words I put in these books, you will not progress. You will not achieve a very fluent level in your target language. That's just a fact. Now, people ask me all the time, how do I learn new words? Should I use flashcards or what should I do? Well, it's pretty straightforward what you do. Two things you do. Number one, when you have your sessions with your tutor or your language exchange partner, there are going to be lots of things you try to say that you just don't know how to say. You're going to ask your tutor or your language exchange partner, how do I say these things? Your tutor or language exchange partner will tell you. You're going to write that down. You will have, congratulations, you will have learned 3 new words. And as you do that repeatedly and you're writing all these new words down and you're trying to use these new words in your sessions, you review them, you maybe use some flashcards, things like that, you're going to learn new words. The other thing you can do is as you do your listening practice, right? Where is it listening practice? Oh, here we go. It's pretty close to here. Here it is. As you do your listening practice, as always, you're going to write down those 10 to 20 timestamps for words and phrases we've gone through this a million times. If you haven't watched, I'm not going to go through this again today. We've talked about this so many times throughout the course. If you happen to have begun the course on this level and you skipped other videos, please go back to the very first 2 videos because I go through some very important frameworks for this course. Just go to azrenthelanguagenerd.com/free course. The first 2 videos are right at the top there. So once you learn those and you've gone through those with your tutor or your language exchange partner, then you're going to think about what kinds of places are in your neighborhood or what kinds of places are close to your house. Maybe you live close to a city hall or a town hall. Maybe there's a cafe, maybe there's a shopping center. Think about what kinds of places are directly around you because you're going to need those actually in an activity we do in just a moment. So here's an empty sheet for those who purchase the workbook. On all, you can write or type all the different things that are close to your house or close to where you live. Write these in. Don't forget your memory hooks on the right-hand side. I've thrown the following in, which is giving directions. I think it's funny because I was on the fence when it came to giving directions. I wasn't sure if I should include this because it's less and less practical, and I wanted this course to be as practical as possible. But in the end, I decided, yeah, let's keep it in here. Let's keep giving directions in the course and let's put it here because there's still good verbs and vocabulary that comes with this particular topic of being able to give directions. Even though I know nowadays we use more and more of Google Maps and things like that, but I still think there's still a good level of practicality with learning this. So same thing as always, you're going to talk to your language exchange partner or your speaking partner, and you're going to ask them how you say the following words, right? I have go, turn, cross, pass, left, right, straight ahead, behind, at the corner, across, between, next to, or beside, right? I've got a sheet here for more if you want to learn some more. You're going to ask them, how do I say these words and how do I use them? I encourage you to write some practice sentences with these too, to make sure you've got the grammar right and the structures right, because I believe I put it up here. The use of verbs of movement, is that the right term? Let's just say direction verbs, like verbs that indicate do this, turn right, turn left, cross the road, things like that. They may vary dramatically. Like they may be quite different across different languages. Oh, there's a little capital M that should be there. So that's a little M right there. I should fix that. So make sure you make a note of these differences, right? Make a note of these differences because, well, they're different, right? They're different, and in English you might say turn left, but then in some other language they have a different way of putting that together, and there might be a different sentence structure, right? So make a note of that and speak to your language exchange partner, speak to your tutor about that, and try to figure out what is the structure? How do you do that? What is the word order? How does that work in the language you're trying to learn? It may also be beneficial for you to use some YouTube videos here, because maybe there's some YouTube videos that talk about giving directions. So you might YouTube this, for instance, right? And YouTube may help you and may explain to you how to give directions in a way that maybe your speaking partner isn't able to break down for you. So YouTube might be a good resource to use here as well. Okay, we have a writing practice as always. I'm going to give you two different ways that you might choose to do this. One is for people that are more visual. One is for people that maybe aren't as visual. I'm not very visual, for example. So even this workbook you're looking at, I've had a lot of help, especially in the visual side of things, how to design it, where to what pictures to put, the color schemes, and the organization of it. I've had a lot of help. I mean, big shout out to Catherine for helping with this. She's also helped with some of the actual writing in here too. Sometimes I would talk to her about what I wanted written and she would write it in sometimes. So she's also helped in certain respects with that too. So big shout out to Catherine for that. Big shout out to my mom as well for that, because funnily enough, it's a story for another day, but the initial idea for this program actually came from something that she said, which kind of transformed into this. It's a bit of a long story for another day, but all that to say that I'm not a visual person. And so there's two variations of this writing practice you may choose to do depending on how visual you are. If you are a visual person, I would like you to draw a map. Actually draw one out. I've given you a sheet right here that you can do it on. So draw a map out of where you live and what's around where you live. What's close to you, right? Is there a park? Is there a police station? Is there a city hall? Is there like a tourist information center? Is there a museum? Is there a church? Is there shops? Are there cafes? Is there a post office? Is there a theater? Is there what's around you, right? Draw it out. And then you're going to actually write out some sentences describing how to get from your home to different places, or describing where something is. So you might say, for instance, the police station is across from the park. My home is far from the park. I have to leave my home, turn left, walk 2 blocks, take a right, and then after half a block, the park will be on my left. You might have to write that out. You'll actually write that out. Now, if you're not very visual like me, the easiest way to do it is go into Google Maps, type in your address or where you live, zoom out just a little bit so you can see what's around you, and then as you're looking at the map, describe how you would get to different places. I would probably do that because I'm not super visual, and that's the kind of practice I would do personally. Okay, so here we have where you would draw the map. This page here is where you'd write the various directions to the places on the map that you drew or that you used on Google Maps. There's a speaking practice as always. Now this one's quite tied in with the map you drew in a way. What you're going to do is you're going to show them around your neighborhood or your city. Now, there's a few ways to do this. Maybe your language partner or your tutor lives in your same city, which is very convenient. So you can actually do a physical tour. Like you can actually do an in-person tour together where you actually go and explore something in your city together, chit chat about things, look at what's around you. Now, if it's online, you can do the same thing, but Google Maps Street View to explore your city. If you're online, you may even ask your speaking partner to show you where they live as well, right? And they can take you through where they live. So it gives you some listening practice. If you are in the same area, maybe you go to a city or a town that you've never visited before and you go take a little road trip. I did that. I did something kind of like that once. I had a friend who spoke Mandarin and lived in Calgary, and she was here for about a year, roughly, a little bit, maybe a little less. And we became good friends, and she was kind of like my language buddy. And so we would do cool things like that too. Like I remember one time we went to, it was in my city, but way at the other, I mean, really far from where I lived. And there's this really cool park, and there's like all this stuff to do, and there's like some festival or something there, and it was really cool, right? It was really, really cool. I definitely encourage you to do that. And then we have, of course, our listening practice, the video practice. So what you're going to do is you're going to watch some tours around a city or a town that interests you. Okay, so let me show you what that would look like. I'm going to stop my screen share and share my internet browser. We can make you better at YouTubing and Googling, because I know some people are not very good at Googling and YouTubing. They don't know how to do that very well. So let's say you're like, maybe you like a city like Paris, okay? And let's say you like Paris and you're learning Spanish. You might search something like visita guiada en Paris. And then let's see what there is. I mean, who knows if it's going to be, what's this? Visita guiada con audio. This is Portuguese. Let's see if, well, maybe there's no, oh, here we go. Visita Paris, turismo y hospitalidad. Here we go. Here's some video you might choose to watch. Wow, it's a long one, 1 hour long. That's really long. A travel to, that's English. This is Portuguese. That's not helpful. Portuguese. Did I spell guiada wrong or something? Why is it all Portuguese? No, it's not. Let's try a different wording here. It's not really great either. Visita de Paris. Que ver en Paris. Oh, here we go. Here's one. Que ver en Paris. Here we go. Right, here's another video, what to see in Paris, right? And it's in Spanish, right? We've got lots of English results. Let's say you're learning like I don't know, like Mandarin. How do I even say tour in Mandarin? Actually, I don't even know that word in Mandarin. This is a great thing. Like maybe you're gonna be in my situation, you're learning a language and you don't know how to say it. Well, option one and the best, fastest option is to ask your language exchange partner, but maybe you don't have that luxury. See what we do, we go into Google. So we go English to Mandarin, and we simply type in here, tour. Oh, Luyo, I wonder if you can say that. I'm not sure if that's quite right. And who knows, you're not gonna know. So for example, I'm looking at this word. I don't know if this is right, because Luyo to me means traveling, right? I didn't know that I meant tour as well. So maybe that's not the right word, because Google's not always the best translator, always, right? So even like if we look at the results down here, maybe we can look down at nouns. Oh yeah, Luyo. So maybe I'll search like traveling in Paris or something. Okay, so I'll type it in Chinese. If I was doing this for Mandarin, here's what I do. Bali 旅游. Oops, I spelled that wrong. Now my grammar might be wrong. Like it's okay though, right? Oh, here we go. Right, so I might pick one of these videos and I might watch it. Right, so this is how you do it. You might need to YouTube around, try some different word structures. You may ask your tutor for help on what to YouTube to find a video. If you're taking lessons with the Calgary Language Nerds, or really any good tutor, to be honest, they'll save you some time and send you the right videos for it, right? But lots of cool options here. Okay, so let me close that. Share my screen once more. So you're going to watch these, right? And just like every single listening practice, the goal, I remind you, since you're quite beginner yet, you're not going to understand 90% of the video, but that's okay. That's okay. The goal is to get those 10 to 20 timestamps for words and phrases that you understood, right? You're like, yeah, I got those words. High five. Woohoo, go Azren. Right? Things you think you understood, but you're not sure if you did. Things you didn't understand, but you want to learn. Often these are things you heard multiple times, but didn't really get. And then we'll ignore this fourth one for now. So just these top three. In fact, we're getting to a point, if you're starting to have slow conversations with your tutor, you might slowly start to phase this first point out. You might slowly start to phase that out at this point and focus just on 2 and 3, to be honest. 2 and 3 is a good one to focus on. And so that's that. That takes us to the end of this chapter here. Right, our next step here is shopping, which we'll cover in the next video. We'll talk about shopping. Anything else I'd like to say? I don't think so. Stop my screen share. Don't think there's anything else I'd like to say. I really would appreciate feedback for people that are using this course as a language learning resource, because I want to make, like, it's not perfect. I know, I mean, there's typos and stuff too, which bothers me, but have you ever like tried to fix your own typos and you read something a million times and you've just read it so many times that your eyes don't read it properly anymore? I feel like that's what's happened to me in these workbooks, but this is actually helping me making these videos so I catch stuff that I didn't catch before. So anyway, I would appreciate feedback. If you see typos in the workbooks, typos in the video, If you feel like there's something missing from this kind of course that would really help you learn better, if you feel like there's a topic that maybe it should be addressed that I haven't addressed, maybe there's a problem you have with the format, and you're like, well, Azren, it'd be formatted better if you did this. Maybe you think it's great and you're like, yeah, I love this part of the course. Maybe, who knows? I just need some feedback because then I can make improvements upon what I have already done. I think it's a really good program and I think it's really, really good. Otherwise, I wouldn't be making it and putting it out and being so confident about it. But, nothing is ever perfect. Nothing's ever perfect, and there's always room to make things better. So if you're going through the program and using this as a resource, I would appreciate some feedback. Anything else I want to say at this point? Yeah, I mean, one last thing I'll throw in it's not fully built into the course, but it is an important piece. It falls into the listening practice category. I think it's important to also do listening practice that is at your level. So, for example, when you're watching that tour today, when you're watching a guided tour in French or Spanish or whatever language, right? That's going to be above your level, right? And I think it's also important to watch things that are at your level. I think that's a really good idea. Might be tough to find them sometimes if you're quite beginner. Sometimes you might have to rely on apps or other courses or textbook materials where they've designed materials for your level. But I do think it's beneficial to do that as well. I think there's benefit in that too. So, okay, let's wrap this up here. It's 1:45 in the morning. As you guys know, I'm a night owl. I do things late at night and I wake up late. So we'll wrap this up here. I appreciate your attention. We'll talk later. Bye-bye. See you.